live. And we're live. Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Comic Shop Talk Live, brought to you by Black Hat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. We're here keeping you connected to the comic book community. I'm Mark.
I'm Francie.
And we've got all kinds of fun things to talk about today.
Yes.
Cool comic shop news.
Yes.
Great books for this week.
Yes.
Halloweenery going on.
I love Halloweenery.
All kinds of fun stuff. It's an interactive show, so feel free to throw us your questions, comments, concerns, and queries. And we'll respond to those to the best of our ability. We want to hear about what you're reading this week, what you're looking forward to reading, what your favorite titles are.
What's top of the stack?
What's at the top of the stack this week? Always like to start the show with Comic Shop News. Comic Shop News. All kinds of fun things moving and shaking in the world of comics. Let's see, where to begin? First off, I want to throw out Future State. DC has been making some announcements about some events, some cool things they've got going on at the beginning of the year, January, February, going to be Future State. Seems a little bit like a morphed 5G, but hey, they can call it whatever they want. Just curious if you guys have seen the announcement, seen some of the characters that they've been showing, some of the things that they're going to be doing with that. Looks pretty cool, looks kind of fun. Just curious what your feedback on that is. It's just going to be like a brief event. They're going to show you a bunch of books, a bunch of characters, while the main titles are on hiatus a little bit, and then all the main titles and main storylines will come back.
And not to be confused with Winter's End.
Not to be confused with anything else.
Whatever.
It's just a brief little thing. Off the record, and I don't mean this as a negative. It's totally what comics do, but it seems kind of, you know, they're doing this whole thing to see what sticks. There's going to be, and comics does this a lot. They launch a bunch of new books, or they do an event sort of thing, and one or two of those characters explodes in popularity, and then they bring those characters back in other books, and that seems what this is kind of like. They're sort of fishing for the next big thing, and hopefully they'll get it. I'm all for the next big thing. But anywho, I'm just curious if you guys had seen any of that, heard about any of that, and what you might think about, what you might look forward to.
I don't remember seeing anything on the New York Comic Con announcement for that. I might have missed it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it came like real recently, like in the last couple of days. Future State. So there was that. While we're on the subject of DC, I want to congratulate Dan Didio on his new gig. He got picked up by Kubert Art School to teach some classes to aspiring comic artists. I think that's genius.
How to pitch your, what is it? How to pitch your story to publishers.
Yes.
How to sell it. How to sell your pitch.
Yeah, and you know, everybody has the big idea. For the almost 20 years we've been here, so many people have walked through the door with their big idea, and what do I do with my big idea? And so, you know, Didio is obviously well established in the industry. He knows everybody. He's heard a few pitches. He's seen a few successful pitches. So he can really bring some business angle to the Kubert Art School. And so congratulations to him. I think that's really cool.
I would love to take a class by him.
I would love to take any class at the Kubert Art School, and certainly something from Didio. If you don't know about the Kubert Art School, Google it, look it up. It's really awesome. Obviously, it was started by Joe Kubert, master of all things.
All the greats have come out of there.
Like a lot of the comic greats, his genealogy continues in Andy and Adam, who both work at the school, and I'm sure graduated from the school. They have kids who are now coming up in comics. So kudos to the Kubert Art School for picking up a solid professional like Dan Didio. I'm glad
he landed someplace cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Not some like random marketing AT&T place or something.
Sadly, well, I shouldn't say sadly, a job's a job. A lot of people leave comics for marketing and advertising, artists and writers and all that kind of thing. Advertising companies have always pilfered comic book people for a long time. And it always makes me sad when we lose great talent to advertising. So yeah, kudos to Dan for staying in the business.
And for the school for recognizing his talent.
For sure.
Raise this a little bit.
I guess the last comic shop news thing I have, though it's not much for comic shop news, is Mandalorian news. Everybody's super excited about season 2 of Mandalorian. Everybody, of course,
so
saw season 1, loved season 1. For my 2 cents, even though I love everything on Disney Plus, and I personally really only need Disney Plus as my one channel. If you're someone who doesn't have Disney Plus, it's worth it just for Mandalorian. The show is awesome. Season 2 is getting ready, and there's just a little bit of rumor, just a little bit of buzz that they're pushing Favreau to make movies. Yeah, to do theater style Mandalorian. I think that would be exceptional.
Amazeballs.
So that's my comic shop news plugs. Do you have anything for comic shop news that you'd like to talk about?
I do. So we have just put a code on our online store, horror20. So all caps, horror20. So if you purchase anything from our Halloween horror collection on our online store and enter the code horror20, you will get 20% off your horror purchase now through October 31st.
Just in time for Halloween.
We're announcing it here so you guys can be first at it and get first dibs. And we'll send an email out in a couple of days so you guys have the weekend to play and find what you want and be the first to pick up some great stuff. We got some really awesome things up there. Over 400, I think, items in the horror collection. Yeah.
That is awesome.
All ages stuff, adult stuff, everything in between. So 20% off now through October 31st.
There you go. Everybody loves Halloween comic time.
I love it. It's my favorite time of year.
It's it's the most fun there is. I guess while we're on that point, I should throw out there, most people don't know this goes on anyway, but Halloween Comic Fest. Some of you have purchased comics from us over the years, bundles of comics to give out to the trick-or-treaters. They're not doing that this year. So just thought I'd throw it out there that before you all call me next week and say, hey, what bundles do you have for the trick-or-treaters? We don't, because they didn't do that this year. They put together some like exclusive pop figures and different things, but it didn't seem like we didn't want to do a Halloween sale of exclusive stuff. We like to encourage you to give out the comics to trick-or-treaters. So on that note, the pitch I always like to make, since there isn't Halloween Comic Fest for you to pick up those bundles and give them out, if you have trick-or-treaters in your area, I know, that might be sparse this year. Don't know if in 2020 we're going to be doing a lot of trick-or-treating. But if you do, I strongly encourage you to go through your old books, find some kid-appropriate stuff, and give out comics to the trick-or-treaters.
Or some non-kid-appropriate books.
Some non-kid-appropriate stuff. Take advantage of the horror sale. Pick up some things 20% off and give them to those kids. Comics are fun for kids. Comics are better for your teeth than chocolate. Like I say, this year it's a little tricky. Usually we have a huge back issue bin sale to encourage you guys to do that. We can't do that this year. But just to say, if you've got trick-or-treaters, stoke them out with some cool comics because that's always fun. We do have a bunch of books for $1 on our website. That's true. So you can click on all products and use the filter on the left to select $, and it'll show you all the comics that we have for just $1. Good point. Those True Believers are great to give away to kids because they're all ages appropriate. They're inexpensive and super cool. Name brand, as it were. That's right. Fun times. So, yep, make that work. Woohoo. So that's Comic Shop News. And like everything, like we say, this is interactive. If you've got Comic Shop News you want to share with the group, then throw it out there while we move on to New This Week Comics. Lots of cool books this week. Should we talk about Black Cat Chronicles? Is that part of the news? Ooh, is that part of the news? Shall we talk about Black Cat Chronicles? A little update real quick before we get into New This Week. Yeah, so we're at 120% of fulfillment with still 15 days or so to go. So thank you to all of you guys that supported us in our Kickstarter campaign. Special shout out to Boom Studios, who also gave a nice, generous pledge to our project. So very excited for that. And keep an eye out for more updates as we get closer to the end date. And we'll reach out to you guys with how we're going to fulfill the orders once the comic is ready. So thank you. Thank you very much for your participation, for your support. Okay, go ahead. If you haven't contributed, please consider doing so. If you have, you can continue to support us by sharing it on your social media, talking it up with your friends, family, arch enemies, all that good stuff. We will be rolling this out till Halloween. We're doing our best to gather up as much support as we can. So please continue to help and support us in that endeavor.
And we reached our stretch goal. So that means all of those that pledged a print version of the comic will now get a nice card stock. So we can upgrade the comic to card stock. So that's awesome.
Yep. So thank you again. We're really, really excited about the project. Really anxious to get the book out into your your paws so that you can enjoy it. Yes, thanks, Michael, and thanks, Boom Studios.
That was awesome.
Well, it's double awesome. It's really cool from our end, but it's just cool that the publishers support things like that.
I was shocked.
It's really cool for publishers to be supporting the grassroots comic manufacturing. So that's super, super cool.
Agreed.
Fun stuff. Like I say, we can't wait to get the book out. So do you want to start off with new this week books?
I can.
So that's kind of book of the week in a lot of ways.
I mean, do we need to talk about anything else?
Yes, because he has another book you probably want to talk about.
You mean this one?
Yes. I enjoyed a Tom King double feature this week.
Tom King week. So, yeah, Tom King is starting another 12-issue mini on Rorschach. I'm a little confused on the timeline. I read it. I love it. I'm super excited, but I'm totally confused. That's pretty par for course with me. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is post-Watchmen, and I don't think it has anything to do with, and not to be confused with, Doomsday Clock.
Look at the size of that book.
Isn't this great? So this is the full 12 issues from Jeff Johns that just came out this week. So it's different from this, and it's post-Watchmen. And there's political stuff. It's very, on the nose for what's going on right now. Great art. What can I share? Oh, so this is great. No, I can't share that because that's a plot spoiler. What can I share? Who doesn't love a great shot of Rorschach? I mean, come on, look at that guy. Right. So it was great. I can't wait to see what else is coming. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. And who doesn't love a 12-issue series with Tom King?
There you go.
Yeah.
If you loved Mr. Miracle like everybody did, if you're loving Strange Adventures like everybody does,
something wrong with you.
Why don't you go on to Strange Adventures since we're already on that subject?
Sure. Yeah, I haven't read this one yet, but I'm caught up on the series up before this issue. We're right in the middle of trying to figure out if Adam Strange is going to be like persecuted for what they've found. Not Mr. Miracle. Mr.
Terrific.
Thank you. There's so many misters in the universe. He is just freaking cool. Like, who knew how cool he was? That's why I love Tom King. Bringing out like the true essence of a character and really showing you their awesomeness. So I've been really enjoying the Justice League's investigation into Adam Strange and his Adam Strange relationship with his wife. And now I think this issue has something to do with, their daughter. And so great read, beautiful art, of course, by Mitch Gerards and Doc Shaner. Pick it up. It's awesome. Twofer.
If you did not read Mr. Miracle, if you're not familiar with Tom King, if you didn't read Mr. Miracle, if you didn't read the Batman run, if you did read the Batman run and you bailed out because you got angry, I strongly encourage you to check out both of these titles. His ability to, just what you're saying about Mr. Terrific, he does a lot of what Mark Waid does. He boils a character down to its pure essence, and then starts digging into that, and then starts analyzing and bringing that core character out. And it's just been fascinating. I'm a big fan of Adam Strange. I'm a fan of, because it's the reverse of the concept. The concept is always, there's two. The concept is either every DC character is a space cop. Every DC character is somebody who came from another planet and shows up on Earth and decides to stay here and be a superhero. Okay, great. But Adam Strange gets stolen, taken to another planet where he has to become the hero over there. So it's sort of a flip on that. But it's also very much one of those sort of Burroughs, Warlord of Mars kind of things.
It does have that feel to it, yeah.
Where like Buck Rogers and all that. Where everything's falling apart until the American shows up.
Well, and also just a total side note. In addition to these great books by Tom King, they're also doing finally the Batman Catwoman 12-issue run. That's gonna, I think, launch in December, I want to say. So make sure you add that to your list because that's gonna be off the hook.
And so Strange Adventures really kind of analyzes the core premise of the Adam Strange comic. We've all taken so many things for granted, as so much at Adam's word, and now he's sort of just kind of scratching away at that surface, and it's a fascinating read. Yeah. So as I say, if you don't know much about Tom King, and you should pick up Mr. Miracle. You should pick up Strange Adventures. Grab Rorschach.
Especially if you're a sci-fi fan, this is like classic sci-fi stuff. It's
that's
really great.
A big reason why I like it, and I like say when you invert premises on their ear and reanalyze it and stuff like that. So good stuff. I'm real anxious to read that one.
Good times.
And speaking of favorites, because Tom King is one of our new favorites, I got a couple of my favorites this week. In fact, my very favorites this week. Anytime I get Avengers and Captain America in the same week, that's just really good times. Avengers 37 is the last part of the Age of Khonshu. I've been talking up this book for a while, been loving this book. I hope you're reading Avengers right now because this is as good as it's been in a long time. Everybody versus everybody. But see, this is it's the last part of the arc, so I can't show you anything. But it's been really big, and folks that haven't been reading Avengers jumped in on this one. There's a lot of Moon Knight fans out there. And I probably said this last time at the end of number 36. This is rolling into something really huge, Marvel-wide huge that I kind of don't want to say much about. But again, just take my word for it. Pick up number 37, even if you haven't read the other ones, because this is going to roll into something really, really big. That's probably going to go.
Too. The back is awesome.
Oh yeah, and all the Marvel books have been doing the Chadwick Boseman tributes, and that's really cool too. And secondly,
get a close up.
I mean, come on, look how cool that is.
All the skulls and stuff in there.
All the blood and skulls, and yeah.
Just in time for Halloween.
No one more sinister than the Red Skull. The Red Skull is the worst of the Marvel villains. Because he's the only one that doesn't think he's the hero. He knows he's the bad guy. So anyway, love me, Captain America. Just like Avengers, this book is as good as it gets, as good as it's been, and that says a lot for me because I've been reading Captain America my whole entire life. Again, if for some reason you haven't been reading Cap, it's a great time to jump in. Great stories, great art. Speaking of, let me see. There's a good page I can show you. Just good quality art.
So that's an interesting thing that you brought up. We should talk about that some. So he's the only villain that knows he's not a hero.
Sure.
That's a fascinating concept.
At least in the Marvel universe, that's totally
Dr.
true.
Doom thinks he's like the poop.
Dr. Doom
understands
he's the savior of the human race, Dr. Doom.
Same with Thanos.
Same with Magneto. Magneto is the savior of mutancy, and he's fighting the evil that is the devolved humans. And on and on. Yeah, Thanos is saving the universe. Everybody is saving something. But the Red Skull is killing you so that he can take what you have and eat it all. And he knows that, and he don't care. The Red Skull doesn't even have Hitler's goal. He doesn't even pretend to be like taking over anything. He just wants to kill everyone and destroy and take it all for himself. And I say that sort of one-dimensionality, I think, has become kind of fascinating.
That's like the Joker. He's got no qualms about being the villain.
Right.
There's no gray with the Joker.
Yep. It's just murder, mayhem,
chaos,
narcissism,
murder, mayhem, chaos,
all those kind of things. And,
narcissism is a fascinating word that's been used a lot these days.
Yes, it's
We'll just leave it at that.
a common term. But anyway, as I say, two of my favorite titles are as good as they've been in a long, long time. And so if you're not following one of these books, you're missing out on something really solid. And particularly with Avengers, either 37 being the last issue or wait for number 38, the first part of the next arc. Good times.
Good times. My turn?
Your turn.
I mean, come on. 80 pages of horror. Of course, that's top of my stack this week. Of course. So DC, I think there's 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 10 short stories for $10. Totally worth it. 80-page giant. We've got stuff from Marv Wolfman.
Top talent right there.
Garth Ennis.
Controversial talent right there.
Kenny Porter, Travis Moore, Brandon Thomas, all kinds of good stuff. Batman stuff's in here. Aquaman, Beast Boy, Solomon Grundy, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Solomon Grundy.
He doesn't get enough play.
He does not. And nothing
time.
says Halloween like Solomon Grundy.
My story last year was I did a Solomon Grundy Halloween story.
Yeah, the original zombie.
Yeah.
In comics.
I can read that again for our Zoom Halloween party this year.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about shortly.
I love these Halloween specials. I probably said it last time with the Legends of the Swamp Thing. DC does a great job with these. I know they're a little pricey. Recycle a couple of cans and treat yourself because that's well worth it.
It's good times. Good scary times.
Scary times. Is that back to me?
Yep, your turn.
Okay, I'll jump ahead in my stack a little bit
and
because.
What's top of your guys' stack? We want to hear it.
Top of your stack?
Top of your stack this week.
Get anything scary like this? Well, we're talking about scary stuff.
Ooh.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and talk about Immortal Hulk. I love this book. As I've said before, I'm not traditionally speaking a big Hulk fan. I love the Peter David run like everybody does. I love the Lee Kirby stuff like everybody does. But Hulk has never been a book that was on my list and I read all the time. Immortal Hulk #1 came and it had that awesome Alex Ross cover like all the issues have. And so I bought it and I loved it. And I've been loving every single issue ever since, like most people have. If you're reading Immortal Hulk, you're way ahead of me. You already know everything I'm telling you because you know how awesome this book is. If you're not reading Immortal Hulk, you're really missing out, particularly here at Halloween time. I would strongly encourage you to grab the latest issue and or grab the first volume of the trade paperback. It's one of the most Halloweenish kind of comics you're going to read because it's all about death and coming back to life and it's Hulk smash and it's the original thing is Jekyll and Hyde, right? And it's a superhero take on a classic horror trope.
I've never thought of it that way.
It's Stan and Jack's version of Jekyll and Hyde. Dr. Banner, Dr. Jekyll. And of course, like everything over the years, it got away from the horror angle and became a superhero villain of the month book. But Immortal Hulk brings it back to that classic dark horror stuff. And boy, it's just been so much fun to read. And so again, if you're not following it, you really should be. If you're not following it, now's a great time. Halloween's a great time to read some Immortal Hulk. So pick up this week's issue. I mean, look at those Alex Ross covers. Come on. So and this isn't even the timeless one. I'm sparing you guys my litany of Alex Ross timeless covers this week because we've been talking about it so much. But he's been doing all the covers for Immortal Hulk, just like Captain America. Fun book. The interior art is not Alex Ross, but pretty darn cool. Can't show you anything because you'll be like, oh, that's that guy. But another Chadwick Boseman tribute.
Yeah, that's going to hurt for a long time.
It's going to hurt for a long time. So Immortal Hulk, perfect Halloween book, perfect Halloween trade paperback.
Yes. Speaking of going over to Boom Studios, this is just a fun freaking book. It is action adventure. It is classic mythos, Camelot stuff, witches and Morgan and Merlin and Beowulf and all kinds of fun things. And a kick-ass granny with a shotgun. Like, what else do you need? That's it. Game over. It's fun. Let me show you. I can't show you that. Nope, I can't show you that. Nope, can't show you that. I can maybe show you this side. I mean, the art is great. It already looks like a cartoon. Like, they really need to make this like an animated series because it's so great. The characters are amazing, and Kick-Ass Granny is just, I mean, it says it's in the name, Kick-Ass Granny. So, I mean, look at that. That's just gorgeous.
Oh, that is cool.
Gorgeous. So if you like Camelot type stories, if you like action adventure type stuff, and a little bit of mystical, magical stuff sprinkled in there, then that's the book for you.
I love mystical, magical.
It's a good time.
That book has really brought Boom Studios to a lot of people's attention. I've been talking about Boom for a long time
I love me
for
some
different
Boom.
things, particularly their Planet of the Apes. You've all heard me talk about Planet of the Apes 100 million times. I love their ape stuff. I love all kinds of stuff from them. But Once and Future has really exploded for them, and I'm particularly excited about that, much like Something is Killing the Children. Because I like people identifying that Boom does other stuff besides licensed property things and you know, the Whedonverse stuff or the Planet of the Apes or whatever. Yeah. And it's not superhero, but it's a quality comic that everybody's really into.
It's really good. I like it. While we're on the, can I keep going?
Please.
So while we're on the Boom Studios train, I'm really digging. I'm sorry, it's backwards for you guys on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry, backwards. It's 7 Secrets. Not enough people have this on their list. This is Tom Taylor, the writer for Deceased, which everybody has on their list. So come on over to Boom Studios, add 7 Secrets to your list. Again, the way I described it before is Dan, what's his name? I can't remember. So Angels and Demons guy, symbols and signs, and someone will help me out with the name of the author. Dan Brown, right? Dan Brown. So that kind of flavor, it's basically keepers and the holders, I think, and they're people that are keeping secrets. We still have no idea what the secrets are, but people are dying to keep them a secret. And it's a great book. It's like 007 meets a Dan Brown book. Very well written, great characters. Tom Taylor, pick it up. It's good. Again, I'll show you some art because the art's great.
And art is great.
They do great with their color too. Boom Studio. Yeah, I don't think color gets enough credit, but color is like music to a movie. It's the mood, it's the emotion, and so color says a lot about what you're reading. And Boom Studios always has great colorists.
It does, and it means a lot. And I would also, I'm really glad you mentioned that.
I'm glad you're liking it, Michael.
It brings up something really interesting that, and I'm sure they're conscious of it, but not a lot of publishers do this. It gives all the books you publish a look.
Yeah.
You can open a book as somebody can show you a page, and you can kind of assume that's a Boom Studios book because of the bright, solid colors and the quality art and things like
really
that.
Good.
And that's really savvy.
Your turn.
While you're talking about Boom, I'm always very Marvel heavy, and I pull a couple DCs because I love them. But I always like to mention some indie things. And okay, I talk up Image every single week in the weekly video, and I always give Image all kinds of props and all kinds of credit. But I'm the first to admit I don't read a whole lot of Image titles because I'm inundated with Marvel and DC stuff, and for a number of reasons. Mostly because I'm a straight up superhero guy, and they do crime and they do horror and they do all these other things, which is awesome. So I read Black Science, and I loved Black Science, and I talked about Black Science all the time. Now I can see that Commanders in Crisis is my new Image book until Crossover comes out. So I'm going to talk up some Commanders in Crisis. This book was really, really fun. And it feeds into a lot of things of what I always give Image a lot of credit for. This is the kind of book that made Image great, meaning this is a book that takes all the premises of superhero comics that you know and puts a cool, interesting spin to it. Just like they did back in the day with Spawn and Savage Dragon and all the other things that they launched. They took the concepts you were somewhat familiar with and made them even cooler. So what is Commanders in Crisis? It's a big crossover event book. It's a universal line-wide superhero event starring a universe you've never heard of and characters you've never seen before. And I just thought that was really clever and kind of genius. He explains in the beginning you know what the deal is. Obviously,
Preface.
you can't read that, but he kind of tells you in the little story, hey, look, you love event books. I love event books. Writers and artists like event books. Here's a cool event book, and the real challenge was getting you to care about all these characters you never heard about. So I took his word for it. I gave it 22 pages, and man, at the end, I care, and I want to know what happens. So like I say, this is a little bit of what Image does best, is taking your favorite kind of concepts and making them cool and exciting. And it's a first issue. I always say in the Wednesday videos, grab those Image first issues before the next one you see is like a 10th printing.
We have a couple of subs that have on their list all first issues of Image books. That's really smart. You know, if you like a publisher, you can put on there, give me all the first issues of Boom Studios or all the first issues of Image. Means you have to buy them though. You got to buy them all. But it's a great way to just get introduced to new things.
Yeah, and most of the time, like you say, if you like that publisher, you'll like that book. If you don't, it's $3. Okay, give it to a friend. But Commanders in Crisis was a lot of fun, and like I say, it's a lot of the kind of thing that Image does, and I'm really enjoying it. It's good art. Again, since you don't know any of the characters anyway, there's no spoilers. It's just again sort of a really neat concept, and it was a fun read. And
that's what we need more. We need fun reads.
That's exactly right.
I don't want to have to work for it.
That's exactly right. It's how I start the Wednesday video. I like to tell you about, give you some great reasons to pick up something fun to read, because that's what comics are.
Speaking of, Farhan had a question. Thoughts on the Transformer Back to the Future comic miniseries?
I didn't read it, but the art looked cool and the concept looked cool.
Do we have one?
I don't have one handy. Wasn't that last week?
I think so.
I talked a little bit about it last week because I think it's a brilliant mashup.
So smart.
And I think Transformers is a great thing because, much like I said about Planet of the Apes, you can put Transformers anywhere with anything. And Back to the Future works a little bit like that too. You hop in the DeLorean, the lights flash, and you're on Mars or something. And so I've been talking about what a great era of mashups it's been. Betty and Veronica have been meeting Harley and Ivy and Sonia and Vampirella. Star Trek Planet of the Apes was the thing. The publishers are teaming up. The franchises are mashing up. And it's just tons and tons of fun.
Transformers and My Little Pony was
Transformers, My Little Pony. So specifically, what to answer your question about Transformers Back to the Future, again, didn't read the first issue, but I'll probably get around to it. What I love about the mashups is it makes both things better. If you read a lot of Transformers, maybe My Little Pony isn't your thing, but you'll read that mashup and you'll be like, that was kind of funny. And that black unicorn one was really cool. Now you can keep it to yourself that you have a favorite My Little Pony. And like I say, maybe the reverse is true. You're a big Back to the Future fan. Everybody loves Back to the Future, but you never really got into Transformers much. So you pick up this comic because you love Back to the Future. Watching Marty McFly interact with Bumblebee might be really cool and get you reading more Transformers. I think it's a great way to introduce yourself to something new. I think it's a great way to enjoy peanut butter and jelly. I know, on and on. So I don't know much about that issue specifically, but I'm sure it's tons of fun and I'm sure it's a great read.
Ditto. Just a fun concept.
It's and like I say, all those going all the way back, as I always say, to RoboCop versus the Terminator, a book that
Alien versus Predator.
Little tip from the Bald Eagle. If the title sounds really stupid, it's a great book. The stupider the title, the better the comic. Young Avengers.
Like Pineapple Express movie.
Like Pineapple Express movie.
Best movie ever. Terrible title.
Young Avengers was stupid. Or should have been. Iron Lad, come on. I was 2 pages in. I was like, I do not want to read this. But I got to the last page and it blew my mind. And everybody knows that Young Avengers is a great, great book. RoboCop versus the Terminator sounded stupid. My comic book guy insisted that I buy it. I bought it and read it and love it to this day.
Like Frank Miller or something?
Yes, it was Frank Miller and Walt Simonson. That's how he got me to buy it.
No wonder it was awesome.
And it's one of the greatest time travel stories I've written. So those mashups are awesome. Again, the stupider the title, the better the book. Shadow Service.
Yeah, I haven't read that. Shadow Surface is looking good also.
Vault.
Yeah, Vault is a good new up and coming publisher. Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that, Michael. And speaking about the Image thing and your Boom Studios thing, again, we talk a lot about Marvel, DC. We're your one-stop shop for all things superhero, but new publishers are blowing up right now, and they're putting out great stuff.
AWA, Aftershock, Boom Studios, as you mentioned, Vault, Scout Comics.
Scout is growing more and more. I'm getting more and more requests for Vault books all the time.
It's a good time.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. As a retailer, I'm glad you mentioned that, Michael, because that's one of my cool / devious things that I do. You know, some of my guys, they read all that esoteric stuff that I don't even carry. I don't even know these publishers. I don't carry these titles because I'm a Marvel guy. But then, you know, these guys, my indie guys, put these books on their list. So I order a couple extra copies. If Bob likes it, then maybe Fred will like it too. If Sally likes it, maybe Jenny will like it too. And sometimes, you know, that doesn't work at all. You order the copy for the sub, the extra copy you order, nobody knows, nobody cares, and that's fine. But savvy folks such as yourself take a chance on a new title, on a new publisher, and they find something they love.
Yeah.
And if you'll pardon one more tangent, that's how I got into Valiant back in the day. I love my Marvel books. I love my DC books. But in 1992, I couldn't stand any of them. God bless you all working in 92. I just couldn't stomach a Marvel book in 1992. And so I begged my comic book guy to show me something. He showed me Solar, Man of the Atom. Got turned on to new characters, a new universe, a new publisher. I read everything they did. If you love comics, you owe it to yourself to branch out a little once in a while. Grab a first issue, try something new, a new title, a new publisher, a new creator, because that's how we all learn and grow.
That's right. That's how we roll here at Black Hat. I just got a couple more. So this one doesn't need any help. Look at that cool foil cover.
I love the foilies.
I love the foil. I mean, and that's just a sick, man. Greg Capullo. There ain't no beating Greg Capullo.
That's true.
Todd McFarlane was smart to snatch that guy up. And then DC even smarter for stealing him from Todd McFarlane. So yeah, I haven't read this one yet. Much like the last issues in my last reviews, I'm lost. I'll keep getting lost. What do you?
You passed some Joker shot that was like.
Well, wow. We probably can't show it, but.
No, you probably
can't. So it's great stuff. It's almost over. Is it almost over? Is that true? Is that a lie? There's still a couple issues to go. But next week we get the Robin King spinoff. So if you guys are interested and love some Robin King, that's coming on Wednesday, I believe.
Yep.
It's great horror stuff. I just pause my logic brain and just read it and try not to figure out what's going on and just enjoy it.
Sometimes that's the fun of comics. Like I said about the other things, sometimes you just go along for the ride.
Just go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to this guy, Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Okay, kids, boy, if you ever in your life read an Amazing Spider-Man comic and said to yourself, that's cool, you need to get back into Amazing Spider-Man. And if you were a hardcore fan who, for whatever reason, at whatever point in your life, you bailed out of Amazing Spider-Man, you got to come back. Okay. Last issue, the one before this one, was the big double-sized. The numbering thing is wonky, is what I'm saying. We got Legacy number 850 last issue, and now we get number 50, two double-sized anniversary issues back-to-back. They're sucking you for like $15 for two comics.
Next week, it's Amazing 50.LR.
Right. They're getting back to those in-between issues, which is nuts.
Marvel.
But all of those
Irregardless.
Tragic things aside, jump into Amazing Spider-Man again. If you were ever a fan, it's the time to come back. Why? What am I talking about? Okay, Spider-Man has always been deeply personal. Spider-Man is a superhero, but really it's about the life of Peter Parker, and all things come back to Peter Parker. It isn't just about what happens to Spider-Man. It's about how those things affect Peter. And it's also about how Peter's life affects Spider-Man. And all thing, every time he wins, he loses. anyway,
It's never been about Spider-Man. It's a book about Peter Parker.
It's about why it's terrible to be Peter Parker. Yeah. You would not want to be Peter Parker. I don't care how cool his powers are. And anyway, this whole run we've been saying it's kind of a back to basics, kind of a back to classic Spider-Man storytelling, and it's been a whole lot of fun. But this issue particularly, with the big reveal of the new villain, there's been a new villain in this run. And like all the classic Spidey villains, it's been like, who's the guy behind the mask? How does it relate to Spider-Man? How does it relate to Peter Parker? Blah, blah, blah. And in this issue, we finally find out, finally get the big reveal. And damn, I have to say, wow, it just, like I say, just blew me away. And I was so, even if you saw it coming, which a lot of people did, it's still, I got there and was just like, this is what Spider-Man is all about.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this tied into the Norman Osborn thing? The Sins of the Prelude?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a different mini-series, but it's also tied to the main.
It's part of the overall arc.
Okay.
That mini-series was tied to the main series.
Got it, okay.
And so it's all part of the whole overall thing. Well, like I say, if you're a Spider fan, and particularly if you've read this one, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it was super awesome.
You got to show the Alex Ross cover. You have to.
And if you're not a Spidey fan, like I say, it's time to come back. Because that was just awesome.
This cover is just amazing. So good.
You go on to your next book.
Okay.
Get this ready.
Okay. So We Live from Aftershock. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about it, but I put it in my stack because it looks amazing. It's got this total wraparound cover and this pull-out cover. I mean, it looks incredible. So I don't know. It looks like futuristic sci-fi stuff. It's gorgeous on the inside. Great art, great color. So don't know what it's about, but I'm intrigued. The cover sold me, so I'll check it out and let you guys know what I think of it next week. Oh, there's pandas. I mean, come on, who doesn't love pandas? Everybody loves pandas.
Okay. So
good.
I said I wasn't going to do the Alex Ross montage,
They're so beautiful,
but I'm going to do it anyway.
They're so beautiful.
First, let me say, before I did it right the first time.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Before I go all into that, I'll show you the A covers real quick. There was 4 X of Swords books this week. We've been talking up the X of Swords, Super Fast Tangent, Hellions Part 6, New Mutants Part 7. This is a really good book. And Cable Part 8. Also a really good book. I'm a big fan of Cable. And then you get your X of Swords handbook in the vein of classic official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Just super fast, as I've been saying, if you're not reading X-Men, pick up this X of Swords stuff and read the crossover through the different books. You will find a book that you want to keep reading. You'll love the crossover, and you'll want to keep following a couple of these books because the X books are really good. If you're only following 1 or 2 X books, suck it up. Go along for the ride. You got to buy all the other parts. You got to read Cable, and you got to read Hellions, and you got to read all the things if you want to get the story. I encourage you to do so because it's what the X-Men does best.
And did we figure out, is it X of Swords or 10 of Swords?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, so I wanted to show you the A covers. Wanted to give you the brief explanation of that.
So pretty.
Okay, so now let's do the Alex Ross thing. This is the Spider-Man 50.
Come on, man.
That I just showed you a minute ago.
Gorgeous.
I mean, come on.
Gorgeous.
Did he take that right off of the Electric Company episode or what?
He did.
That is the guy from the Electric Company episode.
Gorgeous.
So awesome, so realistic, everything that Alex Ross does.
Makes you feel like Spider-Man's a real dude. Like you'll just see him scaling the walls outside any moment.
Yep.
So real.
The internet just loves this one. This one and last week's Wolverine are the 2 biggest hits so far.
Not surprising.
But for me personally, it's hard pressed. My personal favorite so far is this one because I love me some Sam Wilson. And again, come on, look at Red Wing right there.
Beautiful.
Just amazing. This is your B cover to Captain America 24.
Well, that's not Falcon. Or it is Falcon.
That's Falcon.
Okay.
Red Wing is the bird.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah, they kind of, they made him a drone in the movies, which is I don't know. Okay. Okay, so the reason I showed you the A covers to the X books was to explain the X of Swords, but I wanted to show you. I mean, come on, is that not one of the best Phoenix shots you've ever seen?
And she's like, I'm nice, but I can burn right through you.
But I'm slowly losing my mind, and I'm about to destroy some planets. Yeah. So if I were you,
get out of my way.
Far be it from me to say that anyone draws Phoenix better than John Byrne, but come on, man.
Gorgeous.
That's awesome. And then last but not least was this one.
Nice.
This is your B cover of New Mutants. Colossus, one of my favorite X-Men. And much like the Iron Man one from a few weeks ago, I mean, that's real. That's like metal skin that guy has right there.
He was so funny in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was very well done.
That's a great team up. Speaking of team ups.
Good stuff. So, yes, pick up your Spider-Man 50.
Gorgeous.
Pick up the Alex Ross version.
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
Stuff. Okay, well, I can always keep going. And we want to hear from you guys, too. Yeah. Got a few minutes left. Let us know what's at the top of your stack this week or what books you're really digging. Super fast, just because it's here. Darth Vader. Marvel is doing such a stellar job with all their Star Wars stuff. I talked about it last week. Darth Vader is the best of what they do. Good. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you gotta show that. That's the pit. That's the classic shot. The making of.
I don't know if I can. No, it's not. That's sort of the point.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I was just say I don't know what I can show you, because this is kind of it's the first part of the next arc. Anyway, the cover sort of does it. There's the Emperor.
Trust me, it's good.
It's all that Empire Strikes Back era stuff. Even if you're not a Star Wars person, if you like sci-fi, if you just like good comics, all the Marvel stuff's really good. This guy, Green Lantern. Because I love to bring up a couple of DCs. Much like Avengers and Captain America, I also got my 2 all-time favorite DCs this week.
It's a Kazi week.
It was a Kazi week. And next week I get Justice League, which is my other DC book. I cannot say enough about this Green Lantern title. Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp. Oh, my goodness. Beautiful stories, beautiful art. And a little bit like X of Swords is right now, a little bit of what I was saying about Amazing Spider-Man. What makes this book great is that it's classic Hal Jordan. It's just Space Cop. He's just out there slinging his ring and doing his thing.
Slinging his ring.
But the art is fantastic, and the new characters are amazing, and the concepts are so genius. It's like everything science fiction should be. It's everything a Green Lantern comic should be. I gotta say, Grant Morrison, you usually go a little too far for me, but this book was a perfect mix of high concept and just classic superhero action.
It's great.
Great job. We're only a few issues away from the end. I guess they're not doing season 3, which makes me really sad. But I will have 24 issues of great Green Lantern stuff. If you're not reading Green Lantern, you're really missing out. And last but not least is more Bendis Superman. Just because I always talk up Superman.
What's he doing once his run is over?
He's doing a couple of things with the future thing, but I don't know. I don't know who's taking over Superman when Bendis leaves.
DC is a mystery to me these days.
But Superman, it's been so much fun, and like I say about those other things, like Green Lantern, it's a little bit classic, everything that has always made Superman great, but it's also new characters, new villains, new side characters, and all that kind of thing. So fun times. Again, we're kind of toward the end of the run. I've been talking it up for like 2 years now. If you haven't taken my word for it, now might not be the time to jump in. But you can always grab those volume 1s, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Good time.
Great stuff this week.
My stack is full. Should we talk about like upcoming events?
Sure. We got a couple of minutes while we wrap it up.
So because we're Black Cat Comics and we love Halloween, we're doing some virtual stuff this year. So since we can't meet and gather together in person. So we're doing Friday, October 30th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're doing a Kazi's Classics horror version. So Kazi's going to be putting up some old classic horror books for sale, for a live sale on YouTube and Facebook. on Friday the 30th at 6 p.m.
Like this one.
Here's one snapshot of what's to come. And then we're going to take a little break. And then at 7 p.m. that same night, October 30th, we're doing a Zoom Halloween story time. Free, welcome to all, you know, I don't know about all ages, but, you know, if you're 11 and up, maybe. And we're going to read some stories. We invite you guys to write some stories. If you want to read some stories in the group, you're more than welcome to. So if you are an aspiring writer, you just got some things you got to say, horror related. It doesn't even have to be comic book related. Preferable, but it doesn't have to be. So just write a little tale, and you're welcome to share it with us during the Zoom Halloween party. Costumes are optional, but they're more fun with costumes. So check that out on Facebook and check that out on YouTube for the Zoom link.
Tons of fun. We always do the Halloween Spooktacular. And even though this year's a little more challenging, we weren't going to let it get by.
We still got to get together.
Some spooky stories and some spooky fun. So
via Zoom.
Tune in on Friday. That Friday, it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with the Cosby's Classics. Like this show, like Wednesday, we talk a lot of new books all the time. We don't talk a lot of old books and classic stuff. So it's fun.
And you can talk for days about old books.
I can talk for days about any books. So tune into that. If you, again, if you're a fan of the old books, if you don't know much about the old books, if you're looking to buy some old books, if you're not looking to buy some old books, tune in anyway, because it's a fun conversation and it's good times.
You always learn some things. That's it.
Good fun. So while we wrap it up, you got a minute or two to throw those questions, comments, queries. Again, we'd love to know what you're reading this week, what you're looking forward to reading, what's going on in your comic life. You can tune in every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. We put up the weekly video where I show you everything that's out this week. Then at 10 o'clock, you can go to black-cat-comics.com, click on shop, click on new this week, and pick up the books that we talked about. You read them throughout the week. You tune in on Saturday, 2 o'clock, and we talk about all your favorite books.
And
then you tune back in Sunday at 2 o'clock for Matchbox versus Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels is tearing it up these days. So tune in tomorrow at 2 to see who will be this week's champion.
A lot of upsets there.
A lot of upsets. We've had some crashes.
Yep.
It's an exciting day at the races every Sunday at 2 p.m.
Good times. Good times.
So until next Wednesday, until next Saturday, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting our Kickstarter.
Reruns of Night Stalker from the 70s has been showing on MeTV. Nice. Yeah. Totally creepy. I love all the reruns of stuff and all the Disney movies too. We've been watching Corpse Bride and Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's I love Halloween.
Adam's
for that.
Family
so
and gotta bust out some monsters. So yeah, enjoy your October. Enjoy the Halloween spirit.
Yes.
And thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you all next time in a brand new show.
Bye guys and gals.